Hello folks, time once again to do some CSS battles from the past. These are daily targets from April 1st, April 2nd, and April 3rd of 2024. So let's get right to it. What is this shape? Pretty sure I did this with backgrounds or a big clip path probably when I did this in the past. What if we did it another way? What if we viewed this as a square that's on its side, aspect ratio 1, and then rotate 45 degrees? Can we get it done that way is kind of the question that I have. So I'm creating this square. I put an aspect ratio 1 so I can just adjust the height and move it into position. I'm going to use display flex. Temporarily, I don't actually want to use display flex, but it gets me to justify content center and align item center and get something reasonable. So let's get a square. Yeah, let's get that square. All right, so 20, 30, 40. Oh, that's interesting. So those angles are not square. That's bad. That means that this solution is not going to work. How about this one here? 5, 6, 8, 9, 200, 201, 202, 203, 204, 205. So that could be right. That's better aligned than the rest of it. But we're still going to have a problem, I think. So let's do a linear gradient. We're going to keep following this down, but I feel like we're going to run into a real problem with these angles here. All right, so let's say it's 45 degrees, and then we're transparent. And then white, and then transparent again. And that is exactly the opposite of what I want. So I want, what, minus 45? All right, so that's the idea. Let's go 45%, 0, 55%, 0, and see. So that's our stripe down the middle. 4, 3, 2, 3, Q, 10, 20, 30, 31, 32, Q, 132, Q, and then let's do 150, Q, 160, 70, 80, 170, 73, 4, 5, 4. Okay, so that's the first part of this. Now, how do we do the rest of it? Or indeed, can we do a clip path? No, let's do backgrounds. We'll do backgrounds. So right now, what's behind that is the rest of that. That's what's behind our first linear gradient on this square object. So how about a conic gradient? And we'll try to do that. Whatever you want to describe that as. So if I do what? If I do a conic gradient, and I'm going to do the naive thing here. I'm going to pretend that I didn't see those angles. And now let's move this. So we'll move it over, what, 30 pixels, and then down 30 pixels, 60, 60, something along those lines. And then make this bigger. At 50 pixels, 50 pixels. How about 120 pixels, 120 pixels. And then move this up. 4 and 4. It's still too small. How about 130? 130. Oh. And then let's move this up again. 35 and 35. And then what? It's a little bigger. 135, 135. So that's the problem. Can you see that? I suspect you can see that. All right. So we need a different kind of conic gradient. I think that what we need is to figure out what that point is. So that point, I think, is at like 20 pixels. And we're going to do some outlandish colors, which is one of my favorite things to do. Red. What is it? 92 degrees or something. Yellow. All right. So what I want to do, oh, and I need a color stop there. That's what I've got right now. So yellow is part of that. What I want to do is do what? From 90 degrees. Yeah, so this is the idea. So can you, hopefully you can see that, and that's making sense. So I want to move that point 25 and 25. How about 30 and 30? These are coordinates. Yeah, okay, so that's what I'm talking about. So rather than the fake yellow, I'm going to do that color. And what I'd like to do is align that perfectly so that this, and I guess I can do transparent there. Okay, so what do I need to do to make that? So if the from value is a little bit different, is that more like 31, 31? And this is like 91, 90. Oh, we're from, okay, so, and then 4, 88, 87, 86, 85. Well, that's the idea. We'll kind of align there. Oh, and we got another problem. We have another problem. So this white is bleeding, but in theory, if we do blue, another conic gradient, so we're going to do another conic gradient. Ready? Here we go. Conic gradient. And if we're 205, and this is 31, so we want at, what do we want? 270 pixels, 270 pixels. The opposite corner. Red, blue. We'll do the outlandish colors again. And make sure we got a comma. Yeah, we got a comma there. We don't have a comma before it. There we go. And we're not seeing the red at all. Terrific. Terrific. Oh, because we have no. We're probably the same 85-degree angle. Okay, and then 0. And the coordinates are just way wrong. Maybe it's at 31. Okay, so that's conceptually maybe right. How about 31 here? Oh, where is it? Where's the center of my little wacky gradient? So I got the numbers wrong, right? Let's do 50 pixels, 50 pixels. So there's the center. And shall we do another from? So we got from 93 degrees. Okay. So we want another 180 around, somewhere the 273, 273. And then we move that down. So then the blue is going to be what's going to cover. So that's going to be this value here. And so if I can manage to move this in, so let's make it 100. That's doing what I want. 1313. We just need to move it down, just as if it were simple. It is not simple. 15, 16, and 16. 167, 167. Basically just edging into place. 170, 170. So I had the numbers too big last time. And then we're gonna finally make that transparent. So now when we add to these numbers, we want the center of that gradient to be correct. All right, so is that too big? 284? No, 85 might be right, but our from is no good. How about 274? 73? Let's do 80. So this is just not doing what I want. Okay, so where's the from there? 60? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 70, 71, 72, 71, 22, 72, 84, 85, 86. All right. That's the shape. 3 conic gradients on an element. Let's submit and see if we get 100%. Oh, and I'm seeing a little ghost of an outline there, which I don't like at all. We're at 99.7%. This is not a good solution. It is very sensitive to the conic gradient's actual aliasing, I think. It's just no good. So we got to give it up. Let's give it up. I think I'm going to use my 4-quadrant technique, which is 4 paragraphs. Blah, 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 right? And the way this works is the second one is flopped on the X. Third one is flopped on Y. Fourth one is flopped on the X and the Y. So we've got a body, margin of 0, and actually everything is going to have a margin of 0. Let's do that. Body has a background of this blue. Paragraph elements are going to be basically half the width and half the height. So height is 150, and our canvas, hopefully it's 400 by 300. Width is 200, and the body has to be flex. Display flex, flex wrap. All right. That's a lot of code, Joe. What's it actually doing? Well, this is 4 objects, and they cover. So, what we actually want is probably some linear gradients, right? Linear gradient. And we want it to start at, and we're coming in at like a 45-degree angle or some terrible angle. Whatever the angle is, it's terrible. And then out to transparent. (20 pixels). So there. Now, those triangles are obviously, they're all the same, but when we do a scale of var dash dash x or 1 and var dash dash y or 1, and then we make the x attribute have an x dash dash x value of -1. And then don't forget our semicolons. Then we get that. So when we do the same thing with y, these should all have the same origin because they are reflected across correctly. Okay. Also, the weird angle is going to be easier to manage because in theory they're all symmetrical. 40, 50, 60, 70. So there's, see that little bit of just wrongness. So let's adjust. We want to see that error to be consistent along that line. So is it what? -44, 45, 46, 47? That's better. 47 degrees maybe? And then how about this number gets smaller, like 33. And let's use a Q unit for fun. That's not too bad. How about 74? 73, 72. 72 is not bad. 71, 72. Okay. We'll take that. Now we have a linear gradient that we need another linear gradient and probably two more because we need to constrain this. Actually, we don't need this at all. I think the gradients is the wrong way to do it because we need three of them. We need one to be. We'll just do it. We'll just do it. Linear gradient. Ready? And it's going to be transparent to white. There it is. Let's say 100 pixels to 0 on 20, 30. There it is. And then we need another linear gradient on top of that one, linear gradient, to cover that one. And we'll do red, yellow, because we got to be able to see what we're doing. So red, this is the correct thing. So what I want to do is do like 40 pixels and 0. I'm going to make this transparent so I can see it. Because what I want to do is create this edge. So to do that, let's go 100, 10, 20, 30, 40, 42, 43, 44, 45. All right, and then rather than red, which is ridiculous, let's use the blue. And submit. We might have done it. That is 99.9%. And it's these little angles which kind of suck. So let's use some decimals on this Q unit. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. But maybe we can make it work. That is 100%, and we're going to take it, frankly. Let's unit replace and minify. And yeah, I don't really like that code very much. Submitting, and that's the score. All right, so what if the background was just white? What if it was just white? And then we did a clip path. So forgive the formatting here. Clip path, polygon, and it's a fairly specific set of points. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points on each one of these stars because it's all symmetrical, right? So we want 40 pixels, 100%, and then 50 pixels, 100 pixels. I think we saw it was 100 pixels, right? And then 80 pixels, 100 pixels, and then 100%, 30 pixels or something, and then 100%, 100%. That's 5. So that is the ham-handed whatever. So let's make these correct. This I'm going to do 30%, 31, 32, 33. Okay. And let's do this as 50% over. How about 60% over? 60, 61, 62. And then down, we'll say 80%. Six. Okay. And then we know that it needs to be the same amount down, so that's also 86%. And then we'll use a percentage here. How about 40%? How about 37%? Okay. And then this number, what, 20%? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's the other way to do this. That's certainly simpler, relatively speaking, than 3 gradients that we can't align correctly. So let's see if this is the way to go. That's 99.6%. Not as good as 100% match. But also, you know, let's try some other values here. Which numbers do we need to change is the question. I think on the vertical, what I would like to do. Okay, so what's wrong with that? 120, 30, 40, 130 pixels, and then the one before that is also 130 pixels. That's a little tighter. It's a little better. A little bit, but it's also a little bit off on the other side, isn't it? That's no good. If we can't get it to 100%, it is not a good solution. 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 51, 52, 4. Okay, and then let's continue replacing percentages with other values. To the second value, 55. Yeah, that looks okay. Yeah, not a fan. We're going back to the 100%. I'm not going to do the clip path, but you can see conceptually what I'm doing there. You could also do how many points? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 points, which is, you know, terrible. But this gets it done. And so I'll resubmit this, and that's completion. Again, not excited about this one. I would like to do this in a cleaner way. Probably there would be an option to use borders and border colors, and then, you know, have them, that trick, which I've shown on some other videos, would be another option, but then you've got to do 2 of them because it's not as simple as just a single one. So yeah. All right. Next. Now what do we got here? This, I think this first guy, the little tops of this, kind of is a fun one. So the background of an element looks like that. Create one. It's got a certain margin. Probably it's got a height of like 30. It's got a border radius like 15 pixels. And we've got margins that are a certain number, probably 40 down and 60 in or something. And that's how you get that shape. I'm going to put a background on the body, like so. And let's set our margins so that this is correct, or this aligns. 50, 70, 80, 85, 86, 87. And if we do a box shadow, 0, 100 pixels, and then have that color, 1, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. There you go. Not too bad. So, how little can I do to the background and get that look? I think what I'd like to do is a very specific conic gradient to cover this area. So what's that look like? Let's see what that looks like. We're going to do and can I make it work? Or am I way wrong? I might be way wrong. Yeah, I think I'm wrong. All right, so let's do the stripes. Linear gradient in from 90 degrees, and we're gonna do this is green and then the light green, and I'm gonna set this at a spot 0, 0, 0 to start, and actually I only need one, and then a width. And I'm going to set a no repeat just to make it definitive. Now I'm going to move this over so that it aligns perfectly. 110, 20, 125. And I want to do one dark and one light stripe. So this is too wide. How about 50? How about 60? And then is this 50% wide? I think it is. So if I let that repeat, do I align all the stripes? I do. So that's great. But what do I do next? I got to cover it, right? Like I need to do something there to cover these elements, cover the rest of this. So I've got to cover. So if I do what do I need to do? I'm going to cover this with a conic gradient. And what are the parts of it? Well, I'm going to be in the upper corner, 0, 0. And I'm going to be 100 pixels. What do I need to be? So what I need to do is make this space. Oh, okay. So here's what I need to do. Wow, I'm not sure. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a covering flow 75%, and then transparent. So that's that. And I want to move that over. And I want to move it down. All right, so that's an option. So what are my choices to do the rest of it? Well, I need to do that stripe, and I was thinking that I was going to do that on also in the body, but really, oh, there's another optimization. So I've got this background position, right, and this is all repeating, but I can subtract the width from this and have it be a valid number. So if I subtract 60, I get what, 65? And it does the same thing. So that's a nice optimization. And actually, I can subtract another 60 and also get the same thing, because that background position is going to be the same, right? Because it's larger than the background itself. All right, enough of that. I'm going to do 2 more box shadows. So if I do color, this color, then my box shadow still works, right? I can do red, and then you can see it. So let's do another one, and we'll do what? Over 50 pixels, down 100 pixels. So there it is. 100, 130, 140, 150. Too far down, 90. How about 85? I don't know. And then other direction, what? Minus 150, 85 pixels. And don't forget your units. Then that's a way to solve that problem. Let's submit and see if we've got 100% match. I think we do. All right, that's not too bad. So we got this funky conic gradient, and what that is here's the red of that conic gradient. That's what that's doing, and the rest of things are bleeding through. The stripes in this case. All right, let's minify and unit replace, and we're all done with this guy. He's great. I like using box shadows in this context. It's actually pretty fun. A few more optimizations for size of the code. I'm very pleased with that. And what's funny is that it doesn't look to my eye like the dark green and the light green stripes are exactly the same size or width, but they are. I mean, they appear to be mathematically the same, and that was a nice high score, a nice higher score than I got in the past. This guy, look at this. Let's do the blank template. Yeah, we're going to create this shape. So how do we make this particular shape? I'm going to move this margins over here onto the paragraph tag, put this background like so, and then use margins and the height to have this align perfectly so I cover all the light bits, 50, all the light bits of color, and then I work within that. 80, 90, 92, and then the height is 200, nope, 180, 180, okay, so now you got that, which is a certain score. And, well, is this actually the shape? Or is there a different or better way? And what do I need to do next? That's really the question. Okay, so let's very cautiously create a linear gradient to just do the bottom set here. Linear gradient, 90 degrees. It's at 0, 30 pixels. That's the background position. And then it's got a width, 50 pixels. And then I'm going to add a no repeat. And you'll see what I'm doing. So let's do red. And then this, or actually the light green color, comma, and then red. There we go. That's what I'm working with right now. And what I want is to move the background position downward. Right? I just want to cover the segment that's at the bottom percentage of the element. 50, 60, great. The width of this is a little shy, 60, great. And then that color is like 60%, 0, 65, 66. So that's a third. So that's no good. 60 pixels. Oh, that width is too much. So how about 40? So it's 40. Okay. And then rather than red, which we don't want, let's do transparent. And then we're going to repeat this on the x-axis. Oh, nope, that's not what we want, because this is much wider. Yes, of course. Let's do a no repeat. Because we do want it to be correct. So we're going to put that, we're going to do it as black, and then move this over a little. Okay, here we go. I'm going to move this over 40, 50, 60. And we're going to do the opposite. We'll do start with black and do like 30 pixels. And then it's the light color. And the other color stop is just a 0. So the width of this is not wide enough yet. 80. Okay. So I just want to do the stripe. Where are we? So we're over too far. So this is like 30. About 40. And this is like 20 pixels over. And then the width needs to be greater, 100. Okay, so let's get it. That should be correct. And now when I repeat it on the x-axis, it will be correct, I hope. There it is. So then what now? The problem is we've got a tricky situation here with regards to these shapes, which makes me think, is there, clearly, is there a better way to do this? Maybe there is. Do we need another element? We might. But let's try it with, so I'm going to put the background color. So that's what's not filled in. I think what this means is that instead of doing transparent here, I'm just going to do this color. Okay, so now I can fill this in and do a little bit better. And my inclination is a conic gradient, but am I asking for trouble? I might be. Let's do linear gradient. No. No. Is that what I want? I'm not sure what I want here. I think it's a conic gradient pointing downward. Conic gradient. And it's sort of it's centered at the tippy top of this. So that's it. At 50%, 50% across, and then like 20 pixels down. And it's from, if that's a 45-degree rotate to get that angle, it's from 90 plus 45, so that's 135 degrees. And then this color, 25%, and then transparent. And that's how you do that. I might even be right. Let's see. Do we have an edge? Oh, that is perfect. That is shockingly perfect. I almost don't believe that it's true, but it is. All right, so if we do the same thing again, and then rather than the light green, we do the dark green, and rather than be at 20 pixels, is at 0. We get that. And we still have a line to worry about. Terrific. Oh, and actually, we can have that point be not inside the element itself. We can do a minus 10 pixels. And that looks right. So now we need another gradient, linear gradient. That's going to be oh, now I don't see any. Oh, because this is not transparent, it needs to be. There we go. $30 pixels, 35 pixels, 40 pixels. And then rather than red, we want that. So let's submit that and see if we got it. That's a lot of gradients. It is 100% match though. So some of these things can be transparent. I think that can be transparent, yes. I'm not sure what other optimizations we could make here. We'll do a unit replace and minify, and we're done. A lot of different choices here. You could do each one of these little shapes, like trionomos, or each one of these could be its own shape, and you do a clip path on it, and you can make these shapes. There's nothing preventing you from doing that, and yeah. So that's fun. Interesting shapes, and apparently better scores than I've gotten in the past. So that's a nice surprise. It doesn't feel like great code, but it is a proof that using the right gradients, you can pretty much make any shape, which is a lot of fun. A lot of fun that you can do that. All right, thanks for watching. Make a web page. Everybody's carrying around web browsers. Everybody got a web browser in their hand. They might have it in their back pocket. You're looking at a web browser right now. Make web pages and share them with your friends. Tell the world your story. Tell the world what's going on. That's the way to go. And host it yourself. Host your own website. It's there are free hosting services out there. Better than an app. Better than a big silo owned by a rich person. Or even a rich company. It's better to own your own stuff. Have a website and have a great day. Bye.